Man, oh man, after watching Money in the Bank 2011, it just puts into perspective how bland and boring everything in WWE today is, okay? This show right here, Money in the Bank 2011, the best pay-per-view that WWE put on in the PG era, one of the best shows they've ever put on, okay? This show, 2 hours and 48 minutes, start to finish, it was a heap of fun. Now, obviously, it'd be remiss of me not to mention that Kelly versus Brie Bella was pretty damn bad, and Big Show versus Mark Henry wasn't the best. But then again, I still enjoyed Big Show versus Mark Henry, okay? And this show, it was mainly 4 matches, the 2 Money in the Bank matches, Christian versus Randy Orton, and this main event, Cena versus Punk. I have so much to say about this main event. That's going to get a massive portion of time in this review, but those 2 guys, my 2 favorites of the PG era, my 2 favorites including Batista, since the Attitude Era. Okay, those 2 guys put in a show, 33 minutes in the main event. That Chicago crowd was just killer. So, with that being said, I've got to make a point that I've made in a few people's comment sections, but I've got to say this now. What WrestleMania 27 should have been is this Money in the Bank show with the addition of Triple H, Undertaker, No Holds Barred, The Rock as host, and Edge involved in the World Heavyweight Championship match. Okay, if you did that, then WrestleMania 27 wouldn't be considered one of the worst WrestleManias ever. It would be considered one of the best. Okay, if you had Cena versus Punk for the WWE Championship with that storyline with the contract in the main event of WrestleMania 27, it would have just been remembered as such a great WrestleMania. Okay, Punk Cena in the main event, 2 Money in the Bank matches at WrestleMania. We have Edge versus Christian versus Orton for the World Heavyweight Championship. Triple H versus Undertaker, No Holds Barred. The Rock as host. Okay, people would look back on that show so fondly, but instead you made a mess of WrestleMania 27. Anyway, I'm not here to rant about WrestleMania 27. I did a whole review on that, so anyway, Money in the Bank 2011, I just love this show. This review, it's going to be so positive and so upbeat because just watching this show just makes me just genuinely happy and it makes me realize this is why I watch pro wrestling. I don't watch pro wrestling to do those roasting Raw videos, and I don't watch pro wrestling to watch these current Raws or these current Smackdowns that are just the bottom of the barrel as far as pro wrestling, okay? I watch pro wrestling for shows like this, where it's either non-stop action, great storytelling, awesome moments, just a super fun show, a great crowd, lots of engagement. That's why I watch it. And as much as commentary throughout the night, Jerry Lawler, Michael Cole, and Booker T tried to ruin a lot of this show, they couldn't. I just laughed them off, okay? Just the match quality, especially that main event, it was just like an A tier. It was that damn good. Okay, there's pretty much going to be nothing that I really rant about in this video. There's going to be a couple of things which, I make a scene about, like Mark Henry's theme song, Jack Swagger's theme song, Michael Cole's commentary during the main event, those kind of things, which you guys will get a kick out of, I'm sure. But yeah, outside of those like little, really minute nitpicks, this show was just flawless in my opinion. Outside of the Divas title match. But yeah, this show was so damn good. 2 hours and 48 minutes, a heap of fun to watch. The Chicago crowd was killer all night. The main event was amazing. The ladder matches were sick. I enjoyed Christian Orton. Just a great show. And I just wish they could put on shows this good nowadays. But they just can't. Because there's not enough like creativity. There's not enough good booking. Nothing feels important anymore. So yeah, with that being said, we get into the review of Money in the Bank 2011. The best pay-per-view of the PG era, in my opinion. So, let's get into this. This show obviously comes to us from Chicago, Illinois. Pretty much, as I mentioned before, our commentators, Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, and Booker T, a pretty mediocre announce team who did a pretty terrible job at this show, but nevertheless, the crowd, as I mentioned before, they were hot all night throughout the show. It made this so much better. That's the thing. Crowds that are amped and crowds that are excited make the show so much more engaging to watch, okay? Especially with like Raw and Smackdowns, but also with pay-per-views. When crowds literally sit on their hands and do nothing, it makes shows which are usually pretty like mediocre, pretty even worse. Like, as a fan, I want to see an engaged crowd. It makes me feel more investment just by default. So, with that being said, we open the show, Money in the Bank ladder match for the World Heavyweight Championship briefcase, contract, whatever. This was the SmackDown ladder match, so Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus versus Kane versus Wade Barrett versus Cody Rhodes versus Sin Cara versus Heath Slater versus Justin Gabriel. So, this right here, a really, really fun Money in the Bank ladder match opener. The field of guys involved in the match really contributed to that. Literally, 5 of these guys are what I'd call ladder match guys, especially Justin Gabriel and Sin Cara. Okay, those guys are literally made to do flippy-do moves off ladders and take bumps. So they're perfect for ladder matches. Now, as for the match itself, the first notable spot was on Justin Gabriel. He's climbing a ladder and using it as a pogo stick, so he's like bouncing across the ring to try and get under the briefcase. And then Daniel Bryan is standing on the top rope, hits this sick-looking diving dropkick through midair onto Gabriel, knocking him off the ladder into the floor. Pretty much, one thing I'll say about Daniel Bryan in this match, the whole thing took place during the heel Michael Cole era. Remember this? Heel Michael Cole. So literally every 4 seconds, we had Michael Cole belittling Daniel Bryan, saying that, he looks like a goat, and this guy's a B player, he shouldn't be in the match, this guy's a joke, that whole thing. More on Michael Cole later on. I've got plenty to say about him throughout the night. He did an appalling job at this show, but anyway, pretty much early on, we got Kane standing in the middle of the ring and literally heaving a ladder to the outside onto Sheamus and Barrett. Now, speaking of Wade Barrett, personally, I would have been totally cool if Wade Barrett won this match. From memory, he was the favorite coming into this match because he'd just come off the Nexus thing in 2010. Granted, the Cena burial happened, but he's the favorite coming into this match. So, that being said, we got a bunch of other cool stuff in this match. Daniel Bryan, Gabriel, Slater, and Sin Cara all executed some form of suicide dives, like back to back to back to back. That was cool. Sin Cara's one especially. Like, he's standing on the top rope, and he does this sick-looking, like, cross-body dive, and the camera angle was, like, from the floor, so it made it look sick. So, from here, Sin Cara delivers a sick avalanche Spanish fly to Daniel Bryan, which the Chicago crowd erupted for. Then, Sin Cara went and grabbed a big ladder, only to be decimated by a Wade Barrett elbow. Booker T then shouted, this is going to be the first of many commentary roasts throughout the night. Booker T shouts, "That man right there, he's a part of my Fave 5. Because, as we know, Booker T, back in 2011, put everyone and their mother on his Fave 5. Okay? Booker T and his bloody Fave 5. Anyway, so from here we got Sheamus bro-kicking Sin Cara in the ring. Then, Sheamus took Sin Cara to the apron and proceeded to powerbomb him from the apron through a bridging ladder at ringside, totally snapping the ladder in half. Sin Cara sold this incredibly well. Okay, literally, he's like, curled up into a ball. His hands are shaking. That was an incredible sell by Sin Cara. He gets stretched out by medical personnel, so Sin Cara's out of here. Then we got Gabriel and Slater renewing their core stable with Wade Barrett, which I hated the core, but anyway, they proceeded to take out Wade Barrett. From here, we got the spot where Sheamus had Bryan in an electric chair position, and then Kane delivered his diving clothesline to Daniel Bryan. That looked sick. From there, Daniel Bryan flipped through the air and crashed hard to the ground. Then we got Daniel Bryan getting up, hitting a massive DDT on Kane. From here, Slater delivers a thunderous neckbreaker to Bryan off a ladder. From here, we got the spot where Sheamus and Barrett put Heath Slater on the end of a ladder and then dropped him onto Kane at ringside. In theory, it sounds pretty cool. The delivery was alright. I saw what they were going for, but it's kind of hard to execute, so they did alright. Then Sheamus bro-kicked a bunch of guys, and then he started climbing the ladder. Kane then grabs him and chokeslams him off the ladder onto a bridging ladder. From here, legit every guy in the match hit their finisher on Kane. This included Justin Gabriel, which a spot like this is why I call him a ladder match guy, and why he's made for like a Money in the Bank ladder match. Justin Gabriel, he's standing on like a ladder that's laying across the top rope, and he proceeds to do a 450 splash onto Kane, which, as Michael Cole said, his one good call of the night, he's walking the tightrope. And then Gabriel hits the 450 splash to Kane. That looked awesome. From here we got the ending where Daniel Bryan knocks Cody Rhodes off the ladder. Then Bryan kicks Wade Barrett in the head. Wade Barrett falls off the ladder. And then Daniel Bryan grabs the big blue briefcase to become SmackDown's Mr. Money in the Bank. Really fun opener here. They did a great job putting this match in the opening spot. I think it was the perfect match to open the show, given the 6 matches we got. The guys worked really well. I thought the Sin Cara spot through the ladder was just brutal. A bunch of other stuff. The Justin Gabriel 450 splash was really sick as well. We got a bunch of other cool stuff throughout this match, so really fun opener. I gave it 4.25 stars, 24 minutes, 27 seconds. Daniel Bryan becomes SmackDown's Mr. Money in the Bank. So then we go backstage, and we see Vince McMahon, John Laryngitis, and a lawyer all getting out of the car from earlier in the day. And then Michael Cole shouts that this is apparently a last-ditch effort to re-sign CM Punk, because they've got the lawyer in tow and whatnot, so that was fine. Then we go to the Divas Championship match. I mean, Kelly with Eve Torres defending against Brie Bella with Nikki Bella. This was the bathroom break opportunity at this show. I'm not going to, look at this with rose-tinted glasses and say that it was a good match. It wasn't. This match sucked, but, I mean, whatever. So, nothing great by any means. As I've said multiple videos now, the Divas era from after Trish and Lita left and then until Paige came in like 2014, the Divas were just god-awful. pure eye candy. The wrestling ability was just through the floor. During this match, we got Jerry Lawler and Booker T losing their minds on commentary. We heard Jerry Lawler, during Kelly Kelly and Eve Torres' entrance, say, oh, there's more curves than a racetrack, because Jerry Lawler is just such a playboy. And then from here, we got Booker T's beautiful line, oh man, shucky ducky, quack, quack, because we all had to hear that during the match. But anyway, from here, like, watching this match 9 years later is just brutal. Knowing that these two talentless women wearing green, so the Bella Twins, are now WWE Hall of Famers. Hard to believe, it really is. So, as I said, personally I found it hilarious watching Eve Torres during this match. Literally, there was a point where we got Nikki Bella, who was in Bree's corner, trying to interfere and mess with Kelly Kelly. So then Eve Torres, who's wearing these ridiculously tall high heels, tries to run over and save Kelly Kelly, and it looks like she's about to trip over. It looks so ridiculous. But anyway, in the end, Kelly Kelly hits a scissors kick and retains over Brie Bella. Don't really care. I'm giving this one pity star because I found the commentary hilariously bad, and I found Eve Torres running in high heels hilarious. So this went for 5 minutes. It felt like it went for 15. Honestly, Kelly Kelly retains Divas title, whatever. From here, we go to the Battle of the Behemoths, Big Show versus Mark Henry. To some of you surprised, I'm not going to complain about this. Personally, I had fun watching this for a couple of reasons. Okay, so I'll just get into this match. Basically, the Battle of the Behemoths, it was short, painless. I found it entertaining. The video package before the match was hilarious, I found. Literally, Mark Henry ripping the doors off cages, slamming the Big Show through announce tables, getting real close-ups on Mark Henry's beard and dreadlocks as he's shouting, "Oh, pain!" So that was really sick. From here, we got Mark Henry coming out wearing what looked like a blue Smurf suit. Literally, it's just this, blue attire. He looks like a genuine Smurf. I'm just laughing because of the Smurf suit and his theme song. Now, I don't know if I've mentioned this in a previous video, I might have, but I have to do a rant about it here. Mark Henry's theme song, titled Somebody's Gonna Get It, okay, it's a song that I always hated. Now, granted, it fits Mark Henry's character, but the lyrics of it, but at the same time, you listen to the lyrics, let me recite these lyrics, or I'll read them out first, then I'll recite them, and listen how ridiculous this sounds. Beat him up, break his neck, break his neck. And they just repeat that over and over and over again for the chorus. So, beat him up, break his neck, break his neck. What kind of garbage is that? Beat him up, break his neck, break his neck. Who writes this garbage? Imagine literally being in a studio and you get assigned the role of making Mark Henry's theme song, and you're sitting there thinking, what could we do for Mark Henry? So literally someone's just writing, beat him up, break his neck, and then they go, yeah, we'll do that over and over and over again. They'll make a great theme song. So I just had to put a rant in about that. That's just garbage. But anyway, the match itself saw a giant collision early. Big Show bounces off the ropes and dives at Mark Henry. Mark Henry gets taken down. From here we get Mark Henry targeting the leg of Big Show off the back by drop kicking the steel steps into Big Show's leg. From here, Mark Henry will lock in a single leg Boston Crab on Big Show for a little while, which watching Mark Henry do submission moves is a bit weird, but still. Then Mark Henry kicked Big Show in the knee, then hit one World's Strongest Slam. Big Show kicked out. Then the ending saw Mark Henry, he hits another World's Strongest Slam, and then 2 splashes to get the pinfall on Big Show. And then afterwards, Mark Henry wraps Big Show's ankle with a steel chair, and then jumps on it. And then this breaks Big Show's ankle. It debilitates the Big Show. Big Show gets helped out by doctors for 25 minutes. This bit was dragged out a bit too long. Okay, I didn't need to see Paul White crying for 17 minutes because his ankle broke. I don't really care. And look, I get, this was to set the table for their World Heavyweight Championship feud later in the year, which, that feud was hardly good. The match at Vengeance where they broke the ring, and then the Survivor Series match where, did Big Show win there? Or was that the DQ mess? Or whatever they did at Survivor Series was a mess there. And then TLC, Big Show wins and Bryan cashes in. And then we got the triple threat match at the Rumble where Bryan, Henry, and Big Show were in a cage. Whatever. So I gave this 2.25 stars. 6 minutes this went for. Mark Henry wins. Then we go backstage to a really damn good backstage interview. I really enjoyed this. So we get Vince McMahon. He's standing in his office. We got John Laryngitis behind him. From here we see Josh Matthews come over. He's looking all helpless and nervous. Josh Matthews asks whether or not CM Punk is re-signed. So from here we get Vince calling Punk the biggest ingrate he's ever met in his life. He says that he's tired of this. He's tried to re-sign him, but Punk didn't. Apparently, CM Punk pointed to the door and told Vince to get out, which of course offended Vinnie Mac. From here, Vince then blames John Cena for all this happening, because Cena was the one who took on the challenge of taking on Punk. Vince proceeds to say that in the off chance Punk walks out as champion, then God may have mercy on Cena's soul. Just a really good backstage segment here, further setting the table for what was already an incredible storyline. So from there, we go to the the Raw Money in the Bank ladder match for the WWE Championship contract. This one wasn't as good as the SmackDown one, but it was still decent, you know? Like, this match I was entertained by, I enjoyed it. There was a lot of stuff in here which I found pretty, kind of cringeworthy, whether that be commentary or some of the spots. There were a few botches in here, and, one of the spots, which I'll get to in a minute, I don't know whether it was supposed to be a botch or not, but it came off terribly, so without further ado, as I said, this one wasn't as good as the opener, but it was still alright. Okay, the match went 14 minutes, it's 10 less than the opener, but yeah, so just watching this match, and this whole show altogether, it made me wish I was back watching WWE in 2011 weekly. Granted, WWE in 2011 wasn't even very good, okay? For the most part, it was really bad. Matter of fact, outside of the Summer of Punk, 2011 sucked. Mainly because WrestleMania 27 had The Miz main eventing and a bunch of terrible crap on there. But that said, it was still so fun to watch this. I was just having fun watching this show, altogether. So anyway, the guys make their entrances, and to make this match even more distinctive, they each grab a ladder on their way down to the ring. So that they get into the ring, they're all holding a ladder. Some guys are holding the ladders which are 4 foot tall, the tiny ladders. Others are holding the big massive ladders. So they're all standing in the ring holding ladders. It's a cool visual to begin the match, but that's about it. And before I get into the actual match, I'm going to give you guys some more entertainment value by just ranting about a couple of little things in this match. Literally, first off, heel Michael Cole. I mentioned it earlier with the Daniel Bryan stuff, but Michael Cole being a giant Miz mark, it was just horribly painful. Okay, at the time it was horribly painful. Looking back, I find it kind of funny, still pretty cringe. But literally, Michael Cole during the Miz's entrance was standing up and clapping, just proudly, pompously clapping. That was painful. But then, so that stuff happened with the Miz, and then Jack Swagger made his entrance. Now, I know some of you probably listening to this thinking, okay, Swagger made his entrance, who cares? Why is that a big deal? Literally, I'm listening to Jack Swagger's theme song. Now, you heard the Mark Henry theme song rant earlier. This is going to be another one. Jack Swagger's theme song from 2010 and 2011. It might have been 2012 as well. Do you want to know the main lyrics in that song? Do you want to know the main lyrics? Jack Swagger's coming out, I'm watching it, and I'm hearing the lyrics and listening to them. I'm going to quote these lyrics, I'm just going to say them, okay? And you're going to think something horribly inappropriate, because that's what these lyrics are. Get down on your knees. I'll bring you to your knees. I kid you not, those are the lyrics, some of the main lyrics in Jack Swagger's theme song. Get down on your knees, I'll bring you to your knees. Okay, and plus the tune was so bad as well. Jack, what's up? Oh yeah, I gotcha, I don't want ya, I'll bring you out of town. What even is this garbage? And then obviously those main lyrics, get down on your knees, do, I'll bring you to your knees. Come on, who writes this garbage? Seriously speaking, who makes these songs? Who's writing lyrics and thinking, get down on your knees, I'll bring you to your knees? Who thinks that's good lyrics? But anyway, we'll move that aside. We'll just scooch that over for a second. So, at the beginning of this match, we saw all the guys throwing the mini ladders at each other. We get Swagger literally flinging a ladder up the aisleway. If that hit anyone, they would have been seriously injured. From here, Michael Cole was extra animated because The Miz was involved, and then Alex Riley was involved as well. Sorry, I didn't even list the competitors. Sorry. So, The Miz, Del Rio, Alex Riley, for some reason, Rey Mysterio, Kofi Kingston, Jack Swagger, R-Truth, and Evan Bourne, which, before I even get into this match, it was so clear that Del Rio was going to win this match, because The Miz just came off a failed WrestleMania main event and a failed WWE Championship run. Alex Riley was a jobber, a loser. Rey Mysterio was just kind of there. Kofi's just kind of there to take bumps. Jack Swagger, he failed the year before with the world title. R-Truth, he failed at Capital Punishment, just a big joke, R-Truth. And then Evan Bourne was there to take ladder bumps. So it was clear that we were going to get Del Rio winning. But anyway, so Alex Riley was in this match. Michael Cole just got pissed off and started laughing at Alex Riley. I'm just this is pathetic to listen to. So from here we get a sequence where Kofi and Mysterio deliver simultaneous top rope dives out to ringside. And then Evan Bourne climbs up a big ladder and does this sick shooting star press off a ladder, which that spot right there made me think, you need people like that in ladder matches. You need your spot monkeys in this Money in the Bank, show, Justin Gabriel, Evan Bourne, those guys. And in modern day times, you've got you guys like Ali, you guys like Ricochet, Finn Balor, those types. So that was really good spot there, the shooting star press of the ladder. From here, we get this spot, which I mentioned, this is the botch spot I mentioned earlier. This spot, I just didn't understand. For the life of me, I don't know whether this was a botch or a work. If it was a work, then they did this very well, but the whole thing was executed poorly, I feel like. So literally, The Miz and Evan Bourne, they're punching each other at the top of the ladder in the ring, and then Alberto Del Rio comes over, shoves the ladder over, like you normally see in ladder matches. So Del Rio, he's all happy that he's pushed these guys off the ladder, where Miz has fallen off the ladder, landed terribly on his knee, hyperextended his right knee. It looked terrible. So the Miz literally hyperextends his knee. The ladder then ricochets back, hits Del Rio in the back of the head, which that made me crack up. I know that's kind of harsh. Literally, the ladder hits Del Rio in the head when it wasn't supposed to, I'm pretty sure. And Del Rio just collapses holding his head. I found that kind of funny, because Del Rio, why would you stand in that position when the ladder's bouncing back and forth against the ropes? Just what a clown. So from here, we got Jack Swagger stopping Kofi Kingston from grabbing the briefcase by locking in a Patriot lock. The Miz is meanwhile helped out by doctors. Then commentary was just absolutely terrible here. Literally, we've got Rey Mysterio, Kofi, Jack Swagger all doing stuff in the ring. And then Booker T says, oh, the Big Show was in Money in the Bank earlier tonight. And then Michael Cole's like, no, he wasn't. And I'm like, what did Booker T mean by that? The Big Show was in Money in the Bank. He was implying in a Money in the Bank ladder match. It wasn't just implying on the show. Just what a clown, Booker T. So from here we get the spot where 4 ladders were set up in the ring, just all standing up. So we get all 7 guys in the ring, not named The Miz, punching each other at the top of the ladders. Naturally, all the guys had to come down in some way or the other. So we get Del Rio crashing down into a corner ladder, Evan Bourne literally flying out to the floor at ringside, and a bunch of other little bumps onto the canvas. Then The Miz rushes down, hopping, gets back into the ring. The crowd's cheering in Chicago. I don't know why. Why are you cheering The Miz like this? And then Rey Mysterio stops The Miz, beats him up. So the crowd boos. Rey then climbs the ladder. Del Rio rushes up the ladder, rips off Rey's mask. Rey then is covering his face. He falls onto one ladder, then falls onto another ladder. The ladder Del Rio's on then falls over. This is pretty messy. Eventually Del Rio sets up a ladder, climbs up and grabs the briefcase. So Del Rio's Mr. Money in the Bank on the Raw side. So he gets his WWE Championship match opportunity. Good match. I gave this 3 3/4. A couple of just sloppy bits in it. It only went for 15 minutes. Nothing too special. So Del Rio wins there. So those are 4 matches down. Only 2 to go. That's the thing I love about this show. It wasn't just 4 hours and 10 minutes like the 2018 show. It wasn't flooded with just matches that shouldn't be at Money in the Bank. Outside of the Divas title, everything else just needed to be there for the most part. So then we see backstage Alberto Del Rio saying that he'll stop Punk from leaving the arena with the championship should Punk beat Cena. Then we got our penultimate match of the night, singles match for the World Heavyweight Championship, Randy Orton versus Christian. Okay, personally, I love this storyline with Orton and Christian. Now, obviously, Edge had to vacate the title due to neck injuries and he had to retire in April. So Randy Orton wins the title. He gets the win at the capital punishment over Christian, when Christian had his left leg and left arm under the bottom rope. So Christian, he's bringing up his attorneys, his lawyers. He's demanding one more match because Orton cheated and Orton shouldn't have won that match. So Christian gets this rematch versus Randy Orton at Money in the Bank. This whole thing where Christian, he's playing up Randy Orton's anger issues. It's all about Randy Orton snapping. And from here, Christian, during the match, is trying to make Orton snap at all costs. I thought this was really damn good. So both guys came down, we got underway. I love Christian, literally, when the bell ringing, grabbing a steel chair, bringing it into the ring, and then he slaps Randy Orton. He's just begging Orton to, get a DQ on himself. So, yeah, Randy Orton's facial expressions were brilliant to add to the storytelling. With the addition of Christian's heel tactics, this just works so well. Christian, he delivered a big diving back elbow to Orton for a near fall before stomping away in the face of Randy Orton. Then we got Christian proceeding to work over Orton for a few minutes. Orton would then send Christian out to ringside before executing a Luthez press and punching away on Christian's head. Orton would then deliver one of his signature drop kicks to Christian. This part of the match, we then saw Christian line up a spear on Orton. This spot was sick. So Christian lines up the spear on Orton, but Orton proceeds to leapfrog over Christian. So Christian went shoulder first in the ring post, which looks sick. Then Orton lines up the punt. Christian avoids it. Then Randy Orton hits a quick power slam before delivering his trademark vintage Orton DDT. So from here, we get the ending of the match. The ending of the match was just brilliant. Randy Orton lines up an RKO. Christian then avoids it by backing into the corner. So Christian's like, against the bottom turnbuckle. He's like looking desperate. He's looking afraid. Orton's like, in his face. Christian proceeds to lean forward, spit right in Orton's face. Orton, you can see him just snapping. The storytelling's really cool here. Orton proceeds to just unload on Christian, punching away on him. Mike Chioda counts to a 4 count. He's just punching away on him. From here, Orton backs away, takes a look at Christian, low blow, just literally punts him in the nuts. And then Christian fell down, and then the referee signaled for the bell. The Chicago crowd went nuts. Christian wins the World Heavyweight Championship here. The match itself, I can understand if people didn't really like it too much. It was a good match. It wasn't incredible by any means. I gave this 3 3/4 stars, mainly for storytelling. I really enjoyed the storytelling. 12 minutes 20 this went for. Christian wins by DQ, so he becomes the new World Heavyweight Champion, because that was a stipulation, so that was really good. Afterwards, we literally get Randy Orton just snapping fully. He's assaulting Christian at ringside, just beating him up on the announce table. He RKOs him on the announce table once. This whole time, we've got 4 referees, Teddy Long. We've got a bunch of agents. They're like, Orton, calm down. And Orton's just RKOing Christian on the announce table. So Orton leaves, or so we think. Orton then comes back down. A second RKO to Christian on the announce table. Orton's facial expressions this whole time. His smile and the way the Chicago crowd was going nuts, that was great. So awesome stuff here. So Christian wins the world title. And then we move on to the main event of the evening. John Cena vs. CM Punk for the WWE Championship in the main event of Money in the Bank 2011. This match, it's my favorite match outside of Rock vs. Austin from 17 ever, and outside of Michael's Undertaker at WrestleMania 25. For me, those 3 matches are all on the same, tier as far as how much I, adore those matches. All of them are just so, complete as far as everything, as far as the storyline, how great the match was, how, big the match felt, how special the match felt. All of that was just here for this match. Punk, Cena, main event of Money in the Bank. Literally, I'll start by saying this. CM Punk and John Cena, they're my favorite wrestlers, not including Batista, since the Attitude Era. Okay, CM Punk especially, my favorite, or joint favorite wrestler of all time. You guys would know that, obviously, because, he's in my profile picture with Austin. You guys can see that, so I'm a massive Punk fan. He really got me into wrestling during the PG era. He really got me into it, so right away, the commentators, literally, this is before we really get into the match, so we've just finished Christian Randy Orton. Our commentators then do the thing where they show the commentators, they switch gears to the main event, and this was hilarious. The crowd was electric for it. So the graphic shows Cena, and the Chicago crowd just erupts with boos. Then, literally a second later, the graphic shows Punk, and the crowd erupts with cheers. Right there, you knew this was going to be special. Just the way the crowd engaged with just the graphic alone, it was so sick. So the video package for this match was incredible. Literally, that said, they had so much to put in there, given the phenomenal build with the pipe bomb promo in Vegas, the infamous pipe bomb promo, which probably the best promo in wrestling history, or it's definitely up there. If it's not number 1, it's definitely top 5. That pipe bomb promo is incredible, alongside the segment where Vince McMahon and CM Punk had their contract negotiations, which I've watched that full YouTube clip of that contract signing or negotiation too many times. Literally, just Punk being hilarious, Vince getting all pissed off and apologizing, against his will to Punk. That was great. Then we had the stuff where Punk and Cena had their incredible back and forth, where Cena's holding his title, he's got his red shirt on, and he's cutting his promo on Punk, and then Punk's like, you're a parody of yourself, you are what you hate, you're the New York Yankees. That was an awesome promo. Cena hit Punk, Punk escaped, grabbed the contract from Vince. Actually, that might have been, no, that was the end of the negotiation segment, whatever. Just, those things were just awesome. So we got that. That was during the build. Those segments are some of my favorites of the PG era. Not to mention the segment where Punk, after he got suspended from the pipe bomb, he came back, and then he was doing this, promo on a microphone or megaphone, and, talking about how he got suspended and whatnot. Just all the stuff in this build was sick. Those segments are some of my favorites of the PG era. Some of my favorites all time. Just awesome pro wrestling TV. So that laid the groundwork for this Money in the Bank 2011 main event. Cena Punk, WWE title. With CM Punk's contract expiring at midnight, would Punk leave the WWE, the richest prize in the industry, or would Super Cena do it again and stand tall? The storyline was captivating. It really was. This really should have been the WrestleMania 27 main event. The fact that the Miz, Mike Mizanin, main evented WrestleMania 27 over this. And look, I know that people say, oh, but the WrestleMania 27 was all about The Rock anyway. But would you want Punk in the main event if it was all about The Rock? Look, if you're doing this match in the main event, it's not going to be about the bloody Rock. The Rock can have all his, sideshow segments during WrestleMania 27, but when you get to Punk vs. Cena for the title, with Punk's contract expiring, forget The Rock. The Rock can challenge Cena to the Raw after, okay? The Rock doesn't have to have anything to do with this WrestleMania main event, Punk and Cena. Instead, that never happened. Instead, The Miz got to main event WrestleMania. Mike Mizanin. What a joke. So, that brings us to the entrances. We got the crowd shot from way back in the stands. If you guys have seen the show, you know what I mean. That infamous crowd shot where you can see the All-State Arena amidst the sea of CM Punk chants. That was awesome. The crowd's just chanting, CM Punk, CM Punk. Then we have this fire burns hitting. The crowd just loses it. One of the loudest reactions I've ever heard in wrestling. When Punk, his music hit in the All-State Arena, Money in the Bank 2011. That was epic. So Punk comes out, and then he does, it's clobbering time, always. But when he did It's Clobbering Time at this show, I just get goosebumps watching it every time. It's just something about that. The crowd pops even louder. It's electric, given the moment that's about to happen. Just that moment just stands with me. Punk doing that, as well as a bunch of things in this match, just so awesome, so sick. This was just fantastic. So, one other thing to mention is that the commentators did their best to ruin this moment, this entrance. Literally, you guys are going to love this little rant if you're still here in the video. Michael Cole says, as Punk's on the apron, in other places, Punk has been called a delinquent, a demagogue, or quite simply a traitor. Okay, dead set, I have a pretty damn good vocabulary myself, okay? I use some pretty big words in videos. I sound pretty intelligent, I think. I don't know, not trying to brag too much, but I think I sound pretty intelligent in these videos. But Michael Cole uses the word demagogue. I have never ever heard anyone use the word demagogue outside of this situation right here. Where has Michael Cole pulled that word from? Literally, Punk has been called in other places, a traitor, a delinquent. Okay, those are pretty, good words to describe a rebel. But then he whips out demagogue. I don't know where he pulled that out from. But yeah, Michael Cole is just some vocabulary Jesus. I mean, really, Cole? Really? And also, one other side note in Punk's entrance, I love the moment when Punk gets on the top rope, has his arms extended, and he literally shouts, when I was a kid, a few years back, and I watched this, and he shouts, I thought he says, it's clobbering time, but when you watch it back, when he goes, it's my effing time, I find that hilarious. And if he doesn't say that and he says it's clobbering time, God, it looks like he's saying the F word there. But anyway, Cena comes out to loud boos. He hands his dog tag to referee Scott Armstrong. Then we get Justin Roberts doing the ring announcements. Punk got a loud reaction. And I love when he does his Cena announcement. John Cena! Like, Justin Roberts, clown. So the bell rings and we get underway. They do some chain wrestling and basic kind of wrestling moves and whatnot. Side headlocks and that. As Chicago, meanwhile, rained down, you can't wrestle chants at Cena. Well, it was clearly at Cena, but when Punk literally asks the crowd, wait, are you chanting that at me or are you chanting that at him? That was just great. And also, one thing about this whole Cena situation with the you can't wrestle, literally, it's kind of annoying. It hurts a little to watch this back now, knowing what Cena did in 2015 through 2017, when Cena proved that he's by far the face of the company, by far the best thing that the company has from an in-ring standpoint and entertainment standpoint, from 2015 through 2017, when, Cena with the US title, Cena on SmackDown Live, like, Cena was just amazing, like, in the ring at that time. So to see the hate for him, just don't love that looking back, but at the time, I guess it was justified. So anyway, following that, we get Punk doing a hip toss and then a drop kick to Cena before locking in a side headlock. This made the Chicago crowd erupt. Meanwhile, our commentators are just bickering about Mr. McMahon and the sacred WWE Championship. From here, Cena applies further side headlocks as we get a Let's Go Cena, CM Punk chant, as well as a Let's Go Cena, Cena sucks chant raining down from Chicago. Cena hits a fisherman suplex for a 1 count. Lawler then says, literally, this was a stupid line from Jerry Lawler. I see what he's going for, but this was pathetic. He goes, normally support for Cena is 50-50 in most arenas. Here, I don't think there's one Cena fan in the house. As literally, there's a guy in the front row wearing the bright red Cena shirt, a Cena cap, who's proudly a Cena fan, but Jerry can't even notice that. Like, what a clown Jerry Lawler is. So, anyway, Punk throws Cena to ringside, then Punk delivers, he stands on the top rope, Cena's laid out, like, stomach first on the, ring apron. Punk does, like, a drop, knee drop to the back of Cena's neck. That was really good. Then Cena sent Punk shoulder first in the ring post once they got back in the ring. From here, we got Punk doing a crossbody to Cena, but Punk, like, landed on Cena's knees. A little botch there, but not too bad. From here, Cena suplexes Punk from the inside of the ring out to the floor. Punk lands hard back first on the floor. That must have been rough. Literally, at one point, Cena, this whole situation was just a mess. Literally, Cena takes down Punk, gets a near fall or something. Cena then stands up, and he's got his hands kind of up, as if he's like a boxer in the 12th round type thing. He's like a weary boxer. And then Michael Cole shouts, "Oh, Cena, almost Ali-like." Okay, Cena gesturing like he's gonna throw hands is apparently Muhammad Ali-like. God, the disrespect from Michael Cole. Way to disrespect Muhammad Ali, you clown. So, from here we get a sequence where Cena side slams Punk, and then he lines up a 5-knuckle shuffle, but then Punk does what, I love when Punk does this. Literally, Cena's, doing the "you can't see me" for the 5-knuckle shuffle. Punk just kicks Cena in the head. That dazes Cena. I love that. Then we get, Cena falling out to ringside, Punk doing a suicide dive to him moments later. That whole sequence was awesome. In the ring, Punk landed on his feet from an AA. Then Punk hits a roundhouse kick on Cena for a near fall. Punk hit multiple knees to Cena's jaw, including the first one, which looked like it knocked Cena out. Commentary made a big scene about that. So Cena looked knocked out. He then got hit with a bulldog before a flying springboard clothesline for a 2 count. Cena then locked Punk in an STF, which led to Cole screaming, "Tap out Punk! Tap out Punk! Tap out Punk!" Like, Cole's just screaming, "Tap out Punk." Like, God, it was unbearable to listen to, but, I mean, it worked out well in the end. So, from here they went at it some more before Cena locked in yet another STF, as Cole yet again was screaming, "Tap out Punk! It's only a matter of time! Tap out Punk!" So Punk then counters the STF into an Anaconda Vice. The arena was shaking by this point. Cena then counters by delivering an attitude adjustment, but Punk kicks out, and then the crowd erupts yet again. Cena would then go up to the top rope before attempting to deliver his diving leg drop, which, personally, I've always hated that move. Cena going to the top rope and doing anything looked ridiculous, but anyway, Punk counters into like an average-looking powerbomb for another near fall. Cena then circles Punk for a while before hitting another attitude adjustment on Punk, and then we got the kick out. So Michael Cole then shouts, "We're over 30 minutes into this matchup." Meanwhile, Cena's pleading with Scott Armstrong. Cena then proceeds to place Punk on the top turnbuckle. He sets up for a top rope AA. Punk smashed away with elbows to Cena's head to escape it. From here, Punk then hits a Hurricane Runner on Cena before rolling down his own right knee pad, delivering a big knee in the corner to Cena. Punk then delivers a go-to-sleep to Cena, but Cena falls out to the ringside area. Punk then, desperately goes and gets Cena, tosses Cena back into the ring. Punk then turns around to see Vinnie Mac, Vince McMahon, and John Laurinaitis, standing on the aisleway. Punk death says him for a little while. That was great. Punk turns around, gets into the ring. Cena locks him in the STF. From here, looking back and knowing the history of the Montreal Screwjob now, more than I have when I've watched it in the past, this was actually really sick what they did here. Vince sends John Laurinaitis to call for the bell and, do a Screwjob finish so that Cena retains the title, but Cena breaks the hold because he's a loyal babyface. Hustle, loyalty, and respects the nation. So Cena breaks the hold. He literally walks to ringside, punches John Laurinaitis. Laurinaitis falls like he's just been shot. Cena then goes over to Vince and says, No, you're not ending it like this. I won't have you, cost Punk the title like this. Then Cena gets back into the ring, gets up on Punk's shoulders. GTS, 1, 2, 3. The crowd erupts in Chicago. CM Punk wins the WWE Championship in his hometown. So many iconic images and moments came from this. Literally, the coming minutes, which I'm about to read, just awesome. The moment itself, CM Punk winning this 33-minute and 44-second match over Cena, this classic battle, 5 stars without a shadow of a doubt. From here we get Vince McMahon storming angrily over to commentary. He takes Lawler's headset off, and he's just shouting, he's pissed. Vince is like, "Oh, cut the music! Cut it! Oh, cut the music! Damn it! Cut the music! Del Rio, cash it in! Cash in Money in the Bank! Del Rio, cash it in!" So from here, Vince takes the headset off, tosses it on the desk. He's standing at ringside, angrily staring at Punk. Punk's looking all weary. Then Del Rio rushes out with the briefcase. He runs into the ring, and then Punk just roundhouse kicks him in the head. Del Rio takes a hard bump. Then Punk looks at Vince, like smiles, grabs the title belt, takes off, sits on the barricade, blows Vince the infamous kiss, as literally Vince is looking like all dejected. Punk then takes off through the crowd. He runs through the Chicago crowd in the Allstate Arena, stands at the top of the stands. Before he's about to leave, he holds the title above his head. The show goes off the air with Vince literally crying. Just phenomenal stuff by World Wrestling Entertainment here. This is the absolute top shelf as far as what they've produced in the past 20 years. This just whole storyline, the match, the moment, the ending, just everything about this was flawless. 5 stars, 33-44. Punk becomes the WWE champion. Granted, I'm not going to get into what happened after this, because WWE sure did make a mess of this whole situation, but boy, it was such a great moment, so good. So overall, this show was an A. If I had to give it a number grade, I'd say 9.5. The only half I'm taking off is from the Divas match. That match was just awful, but outside of that, this show was phenomenal. Daniel Bryan winning the Money in the Bank in the opener, Christian winning the world title from Orton. Granted, the DQ ending was a bit whatever, but it was still an awesome moment. The main event, Punk Cena, phenomenal. Simply phenomenal. Just everything about that I loved, as you just heard in this review. Overall, just a must-see show. If you haven't seen it, go out and watch this show. 2 hours and 48 minutes. As I said numerous times, the length, 2 hours and 48 minutes. This wasn't 4 hours and 30 minutes, okay? This didn't outstay its welcome. They didn't need to put excess filler crap on this show. It was, all killer, no filler outside of the Divas match. So I really enjoyed this show. If you haven't seen it, go out and watch it. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and sub. I've had a heap of fun reviewing this show. Probably my favorite show since WrestleMania 17, or one of them. It's on that same tier in my eyes as WrestleMania 17 and WrestleMania 19. I just love this show. So good. That ending, I'll say it once again. This show, those 4 main matches should have happened at WrestleMania 27. Okay, WrestleMania 27 sucked. It could have been so great, but wasn't to be. So hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and sub. If you made it this far, shout out to you. Hopefully you get some entertainment out of this review. Hopefully the little side rants made this even more entertaining. So like, comment, and sub. You guys know the drill. See ya.